Each year, the best off-road riders in the world gather to battle for the Grand National Cross Country Championship. And last year's battle lasted all season long before New Zealand's Paul Whibley ultimately emerged the new champ. To win this year, he'll have to hold back the best in the world. Can he do it?
Playing in the dirt, face full of mud, sacrificing flesh and blood. Playing in the dirt, digging in the ground. All I'm asking you, where you gonna be when it all goes down, 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 down?
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new season of Racer TV and the 2010 Can-Am Grand National Cross Country Series. Jason Wygant here, and the best off-road racers in the world there, kicking off the largest off-road racing series in the United States. And the riders, of course, come from all over the world, including our champion, Paul Whibley from New Zealand, who's looking to defend a #1 plate for the first time in his career. Can he pull it off? There's a whole lot of riders on the starting line today at this Parts Unlimited River Ranch GNCC that are hoping he can't. Let's get to the racing.
We're here with Yamaha's Charlie Mullins. Charlie, you had a big off-season, a big change. You're back with Yamaha. Tell us a little bit about your team going into this season.
Yeah, it's basically Overmeyer and Pro, Yamaha. Keith Overmeyer and Randy Hawkins got together and kind of made the deal work for me. And I've been on the Yamaha since January, so I got a couple months on it, got some testing. So I've been down here in Florida, I've been riding, racing up north, so I think I'm ready to go this year.
All right, so you've had some success already this year with a couple races. Are you ready to bring that here to the race today?
Yeah, I've had did 2 national enduros and won the first one, and I'm looking forward to carry that result over and do well at this race and on in the GNCC, so I think this should be pretty good.
All right, sounds good. Well, good luck.
All right, thanks.
We're here with Suzuki's Josh Strang. Josh, a lot of the riders have been switching teams over the off-season, but you're still here with Suzuki. Do you think that gives you any advantage at all, not having to change everything over the off-season?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been with Suzuki. This is my 4th year now, so to have the RG3 suspension and FMF and definitely the new RMZ 450 behind me, it's definitely makes it easier on me, and I haven't changed anything over the off-season, so I'm definitely ready to go and excited to race for the new team.
All right, good. So you finished 3rd 2 years ago in the series. You finished 2nd last year. A lot of people are thinking that this year is going to be your year for the championship. Are you up for the challenge?
Yeah, well, it makes sense. I mean, 3-2-1. I'm definitely up for the challenge, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. So I think bring on the new year.
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you, and good luck out there.
Thanks.
All right, we're here with GNCC's 2009 champion, Paul Whibley. Paul, you kind of have a target on your back going into the series this year. You got the #1 plate. How do you feel about that going into the year?
I'm pretty excited. It's a fresh start for me with a new team and stuff, but I'm definitely happy to take that #1 plate last year. I don't feel any pressure with carrying that #1 plate just yet, but it's early days, and I guess we're all back to square one. Everyone's on 0 points, so it's going to be a good battle for the season.
All right, so you had another change over the season. You're now with Yamaha. How do you like the team so far?
Yeah, the Ampro team's really good. Randy's got a real professional setup here. It's all going really well. Dale, my mechanic, has got my bike running really good, so I'm looking forward to a good race.
All right, sounds good. Well, good luck.
Thanks a lot.
And thanks to Krista Shaw, who's going to provide the pit reporting and commentary for our 2010 season on Racer TV. Down at the start here, the riders are ready for a sand race, unique in this series. Most of the rounds, it's muddy, it's tight, it's in the woods. Here, a little bit faster and a lot rougher due to all that sand. So it's ripe for an upset. You never know who's going to emerge here in Florida. Billy Morris, the band warden, helped us out with the national anthem earlier today, but now all eyes are focused on the best riders in the world. And the season is underway. Riders down already in the first turn. Looks like Whibley and Jimmy Jarrett going to duke it out for the whole shot. MotorcycleUSA.com whole shot award to Whibley, but Jarrett quickly gets in front. Whibley tries to get it back, and they are duking it out already. Man, 3 hours of racing out here, but these guys aren't messing around, and they were teammates last year. Now Jarrett, the lone XC1 member, wheeling over those bumps. He's on the Geico JG Racing Kawasaki team. Chris Bach up the 3rd. Then you've got Mullins and a rookie in the pro class, Corey Buttrick. The rest of the riders just trying to pick their way through these lines. It's going to get a lot rougher as the day goes on. There's Takeshi Koikita out of Japan racing with us today. We'll go back to the start for the XC2 class. These are for the 250cc bikes. Oh, and Caleb Russell, our defending champ, is down in the first turn. And the whole shot going to go to John Day. Big change in this class. You hear the engines, 252 strokes, now allowed to race alongside the 254 strokes. That might shake up the order. Speaking of that, here we are up front. Jarrett still in the lead, but Buttrick has moved up to second. Again, he is a rookie. We've got the Yamahas of Whibley and Mullins right there. Thad Duvall just came by. Glenn Carney, Barry Hawk, Torquito, who we mentioned, and Chris Bach now all the way to the back of the group. He was up front the first time we saw him. I think he got stuck in some mud. He's completely covered. But right now, it's Jimmy Jarrett in the Geico ride, and Jarrett has always been a lightning quick starter. No surprise there. Whibley, Buttrick, Mullins, and now Josh Strang getting a look at him. Second in the series last year. Definitely feels like he left something on the table. He is maybe the man on the mission in 2010. Back to XC2. Looks like Jason Thomas has taken over the lead. He's on a two-stroke, and Jesse Robinson also on a two-stroke right behind him. And as we mentioned, Russell, our defending champ, is way back after that first turn crash. And you see in these fields, riders just trying to get a hang of this racetrack. In GNCC Racing, as Nate Canning, factory KTM rider, goes by ahead of his new teammate Buttrick, or should I say new teammate in the big class, Buttrick. These riders are just getting used to the racetrack. No practice or pre-running. Mullins looks to have taken the lead from Jarrett right now, but they're all kind of just finding their spots. There is Strang up to third, Canny in fourth, and Whibley has lost a couple of spots now. And it looks like Chris Bach has followed him through. And then Carney on the Husqvarna. And Carney's going to rev that bike out. He's actually racing a 254 stroke in the big bike class. Going to try his hand at that. Mullins in the lead, getting away a bit from Jarrett. But how will they play the strategy? You cannot ride all out in these sandy conditions for 3 hours. Strang now in third. Everyone, it's kind of like a marathon over a sprint. Everyone's just trying to figure out when to go fast and when to just slow down and save some energy. Just getting started this new season. Stay with us. Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am and by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Welcome back to the deep sands of Florida, and Charlie Mullins, rider out of Ohio who does his riding and training in North Carolina with some time spent testing down here in Florida, is out front. Another Ohio man, Jimmy Jarrett, in the number 2 spot. So right now the Americans have gone to the front. The Australian Josh Strang here in the number 3 spot on the FMF Makita Suzuki. And a bit of the gap now back to the rest of the field. There is Whibley. Carney has followed him up to 5th. And Chris Bach, who was our top amateur rider last year, that's where he earned that national number 14, staying with some of the big names. But no one's staying with Mullins. He continues to distance himself from Jarrett. Mullins has been fast in the sand of Florida before. Today could be his day. Strang and Whibley, no surprise seeing those two hooking up. Those are the guys that battled down on the wire at the championship last year, then Carney and Bach, and no one else really in sight. So let's see if Mullins' strategy pays off. He's out in the flats right now on wide open stuff. Look out. Feet off the pegs. Hang on to that thing, Hot Rod. And there's Jarrett in second. Last year, Jarrett thought he could win this race. But ultimately, his suspension setup wasn't what he needed it to be, and he really beat himself up very hard to get all the tricks dialed in the very first race of the year. I'm going to give you a little more information on that with this week's Rocky Mountain ATV MC Spotlight. Some help from our amateur crew.
Hey, this is Nolan Cypher. I run 250B in the GNCCs, and when I'm racing through tight woods, I like to use Tusk D-Flex Bark Busters.
Thanks, Nolan. Tusk has a wide variety of handguards that suit whatever type of riding you do. From the Tusk D-Flex handguards seen here on Nolan's bike, which feature replaceable aluminum bars and plastic shields, and a large bend for exceptional brake and clutch lever clearance. The standard mounting kit for the D-Flex is designed for the standard bend bars. However, if you run oversized handlebars, an adapter kit is available. For riders looking for a little less rigid protection, check out the Tusk MX D-Flex handguards, which are meant to protect your hands from roost and brush. Handguards can be positioned independently from your levers and are made from durable injection molded plastic and are replaceable. Plus, the clamps are made from lightweight heat-treated aluminum for added strength, and they fit both 7/8 and 1/8 inch bars. For more information on all the off-road riding necessities, check out RockyMountainATVMC.com. Charlie Mullins continues to lead the way here, and by a big margin. Can-Am Grand National Cross Country Racing from Florida. He's got a lead of over 30 seconds over Jimmy Jarrett. Here is your battle. Josh Strang has caught Jarrett from third. Paul Whibley caught them from fourth. Not far behind is Chris Bach, the rookie. Man, is he riding well. Interesting to see how Whibley plays this right now. He is new to the Yamaha. As for Mullins, he actually rode Yamahas for 3 seasons. He was on Suzuki's in 08 and 09, so he's got to feel pretty comfortable, even though technically that is a new machine under him this year, and you can see it. He's just bouncing over this stuff. Takes a look over his shoulder and sees absolutely no one. But if you're Jimmy Jarrett here in second, you don't need to look far. Here is the challenge. Look at this race. Strang, Whibley, Glenn Carney, and Chris Bach all right there. And I talked about how these guys want to save energy earlier in the program, but it gets really tough when someone brings the battle to you. You don't want to get past. At the very least, if you do, you want to at least follow them through. Go back to our XC2 class. UKJT Jason Thomas out of Wales has been the leader from early on, and he continues to lead the way. In fact, he's in front of some of the XC1 riders. That's what I believe Thad Duvall, who is put behind him physically on the track. Man, Mullins has checked out. He's gotten into this guy as we watch Strang, Whibley, Jarrett, and Bach are still in the hunt. And that's the real challenge. GNCC Racing just trying to stay within sight of the lead group all day long, and then having enough left in the system to go all out with a sprint late in the race. If you're Mullins, you can go either one of two ways. Either he spent too much energy early, or he won't have to spend so much later. He doesn't need to catch up. He has got a gigantic lead, and everyone else is really going to have to hustle to put any pressure on him. What a ride for that young man so far. Strang now up to second. Looks like he's broken away just a little bit, but not much. Whibley's still right there, keeping in touch. Then Jarrett, and then Bach. We know all these guys are tough. All these guys are strong. But is anyone strong enough to run down the man in the Yamaha out front? Stay with us. Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am and by Rocky Mountain ATVMC. Check this out. In the sand and now swamps of Florida, Charlie Mullins continues to lead them around in the Obermeyer Ampro-backed Yamaha YZ450F. You can hear our radio transmission there in the back. Number 2 is Strang. And there's Whibley right behind him. No surprise to see those two hook up. Jarrett's still there, and Bach as well. So as we mentioned, we've lost Glenn Carney on the Husky from the group. Got to be impressed at the rookie and privateer Bach for staying with the big names so far. Nice piece of body English there by Mullins to get underneath that bridge. It's a popular spectator spot because the riders come back. You can hear them cheering for Strang right now. He has closed the gap just a little bit on the leader. Oh, man, is this track getting rough. You see Mullins getting bumped around quite a bit. Now, he won this race last season, so obviously he's comfortable in this terrain. And he and Strang were teammates on Suzuki at the time. Oh, Bach has moved up to third. And he has put Whibley behind him. A bit of a surprise there. And still on the lookout for Jarrett. There he is. Jarrett trying to keep in touch. So Strang, it looks to me, is the one who's decided to put in a charge. He's going to go after Mullins, and that has drawn him away from everyone else. Bach, Whibley, and Jimmy Jarrett. Still got to be impressed with the privateer Bach back there in third. Whibley, as mentioned earlier, only has 2 weeks of testing time on that Yamaha, and I think it's showing right now just a little bit off. Wasn't able to make the breakaway with Strang. Jarrett still back there, the number 4 inside the top 5. Man, every time Mullins gets bucked. It seems like he ends up right back where he wanted to be, kind of a meant to do that situation. Strang looks a lot more deliberate and not making as many errors, but I don't think he's going really any faster. He's not closing the gap on the leader at the moment. And Bach, who's backed by Clockwork Orange, KTM, and a couple other folks, he's a true privateer. Unbelievable what that young man of Indiana is doing right now, running in a podium position with the best names in this game. Wait a minute, now Mullins, we see in front of Whibley, and I think we might have missed, yes, the new leader is Strang, and he jumps over another rider. That was unbelievable. And now Chris Bach is up to second, so there's some sort of shakeup. Not sure what happened. Mullins, we saw back in front of Whibley. I believe that'd be in third. Yes, there he is, and you see, Lap Riders cleared himself of that line. Good. And Strang is in the lead. And Bach is right with Strang. So, just when you think you've understood exactly what this is going to break down, they change it on you. How about Chris Bach, who has now been handed an opportunity to maybe even win this thing, but it's going to be a tall order. Strang is very, very strong late in these races. He's got plenty of experience winning them. White flag is out. Bach is in second. And what the heck happened to Charlie Mullins? We will straighten this all out when we return to Racer TV. Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am and by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Last lap, we got a battle in our hands for the lead. Chris Bach is going after Josh Strang to try to win this one, and in fact, now he's got the lead. And look how fast he's going. They have turned it up several notches from where they were earlier in the race. Strang has to feel this one could get away from him, and what an upset. It would be an all-time upset if Bach wins this. And look, he's got a good 10 seconds on Strang right now. And this kid is from Indiana, not a sand specialist by any means, but he sure is riding like it. Now, you see this section they're hydroplaning over. We've gotten the report that that is ultimately what did Mullins in. He was gone. He had this one in his back pocket, but he sucked some water into the airbox of his bike through here. Not really a surprise when you see the way these guys are attacking it. Lost a lot of time, lost about a minute and a half kicking his bike over. He is back in the running. And here he is actually getting roosted by a lap rider. There's Mullins. But all that ground that he had gained at the beginning of the race, he gave it back. And plus, when you're sitting there kicking a motorcycle over for a minute and a half, it takes a lot out of you. And Chris Bach out front on the ride that dreams are made of. He was 14th overall in the series last year, won the Open A class as an amateur, and in his debut in the Pro class, he is just miles away from slaying all the factory dragons, but no! Look at this, Strang has reeled him back in and has taken the lead. Must have been a mistake. Here's Bach. How much does he have left? Did he go back after the Australian? I don't think it's gonna happen. Strang able to pull this one out in the clutch. He goes through pit lane for the last time today. Look at the people on the side of the track, a bunch of friends and family, and even the KTM brass cheering Bach on. That's good to see. He's going to put it on the podium in his pro debut. But no one is able to stop Josh Strang. It was a race of attrition, as we thought it would be, and he's ultimately the last man standing. Strang wins, and the cheers for the fans go to the rookie, Chris Bach. And a heartbreaker for Mullins, who felt he had to have this one in the bag. Let's go down to the podium.
All right, Charlie, you got off to an awesome start today. You were up front most of the race. Tell us what happened out there.
Yeah, I got a good start and just kind of got the lead by the end of the first lap and just kind of riding my own race, made a little bit of a gap. And there was a big water crossing out there, and I hit it pretty fast, and I think my bike sucked water because it sputtered, and it quit, and I kicked and finally got going. I think I was back to fifth and got winded pretty good, so I salvaged what I could, and it's good points for the championship, and I'm just going to focus on the next race.
Well, that's okay. Mullins able to salvage good points with the kind of speed he showed today. he could be right back up on top at our next race. Let's talk to the new kid on the block, Chris Bach.
All right, Chris, so it's your first year racing XC1. You got your first podium finish. Second, it's got to feel pretty good.
It feels better than good. It's been a long time coming, and I can't believe I'm up here this early, but hopefully we stay here the whole year.
All right, so you and Josh were battling it out the last couple of laps. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, we had a good race going, and I caught him and put my head down and got around him, and we went back and forth, and unfortunately Josh crashed on the last lap, and I tried to make a push for it, and he got by me before the end, and I just played it safe and pulled in for second.
All right, well, awesome job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, Josh, you're off to an awesome start today. You were a little bit slow off the start, but you finally made your way to the front and you won it. So how do you feel?
Pretty good. I'm a little bit tired today. The track was a little bit rougher than I expected, but I didn't get off to a great start. The bike didn't fire as good as I wanted it to, and I had to work pretty hard to get to the front. And then once I got up there, I just stayed there and rode as solid as I could. And Chris rode a good race and caught up to me there on the last 2 laps, and I actually made the pass on the last lap. I had a crash. I managed to get him back, and I can't thank Makita and FMF, Suzuki and Arf. Those guys worked hard and have brought out an awesome bike for me today, so I'm real happy.
All right, awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Hey, that's 2 rookies with strong performances today. Good job, Krista Shaw, and of course, Chris Bach. XC2, Thomas and Robinson battled down to the end. Russell worked his way up to 3rd. Time for the race recap. We'll show you how the opener broke down. First, you had Jarrett and Whibley banging bars for the first few turns. But they weren't up front for long. Charlie Mullins established himself as the man to beat until this water hole eventually beat him. Looked like Josh Strang was going to inherit the lead and pull away, but no, Chris Bach put the challenge to him. The rookie gave Strang all he could handle. In XC2, Jason Thomas maintained the lead throughout the day. Strong opening salvo for him. Look at that, Josh Strang jumping over other riders to maintain the lead. But no matter what he did, Chris Bach would not go away. He kept the heat on down the stretch. But ultimately, Strang had a little more experience winning these things in the last lap, and that might have been the final margin of victory. Strang wins it. Bach and Mullins on the podium. Great racing. For Krista Shaw, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for tuning in to Racer TV.